The following game has been rated E10+, which is short for everyone aged 10 and up by the ESRB for fantasy violence, and online interactions are not rated by the ESRB. So basically fantasy violence. That means anyone under the age of 10 should not be watching this video. You have been warned. Greetings and salutations. I am Outlier, and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we are returning back to Minecraft because it's that point in the cycle and I feel like it. I know you didn't ask, but every other time you do, so I decided to get ahead of the question. So Minecraft is, for the most part, a open world sandbox game that basically gives you a set of tools, materials, some in-game rules around those materials and tools, and just basically tells you to have at it. If you know anything about Minecraft, it's something a lot of people can do quite a few different things with. I can't hold a candle to what other people can do. I just can simply build what I can build, and be glad that I can build it. When we last left off, we were in the process of playing What Hill over my quarry site, which I need to harvest stone from to build, well, home. Because a couple episodes ago I found a pristine location for it, and now I have to build. And while it's taken me several episodes to find the spot and lay down infrastructure, hopefully this episode we can at least start the groundwork towards building home. This game is, of course, made by Thank you again. And, well, that being said, let us begin. Alright, so I should point out I have played this game in between episodes. So this is our little squirrel hut, the hidey hole that we hide around in. When it gets dark, it's secure enough for to have the bed. As I was saying, I've been playing a little bit off camera, so I built all these furnaces to mass produce stone because I have a feeling home will require a large quantity of stone. Sugarcane was available for harvesting, so I harvested it and expanded it out. And well, this is the hill that we were playing What Hill with. As you can see, there's no hill here, so no, we won. So this is going to be the floor of what I like to call New Quarry, which is the quarry that the name for the quarry that I produce. So this will actually be the ground level. I will eventually fill all this in with wood once I remove all the stone. I currently have this here because as I build quarry, dig down through new quarry, I harvest it 4 blocks at a time to make a new level. And to measure out the space where it's supposed to end, I have all these torches, which is to designate lighting for the next level. But since they're on the outer edge, were I not to have the wood here, I would have difficulty getting back out. So this wooden ring is here just for, for ease of access, basically. That's the word I'm trying to say. Except I can never talk easily, so. I know hopefully this entire episode will not just be mining one layer of stone. I'm just going to hopefully have enough time to produce, well, to build one flooring for the quarry, and then we can move on to home. And you will find out why I keep looking at the sky. So, I go through tools like it's nobody's business. I keep saying that, nobody's business. I keep going through tools like they're made out of stone and sticks, because they are, and requires a lot. And through playing tactical games, I've been known to quote, even though no one's probably heard me, that if you can't get quality, then you have to go with quantity. Which basically means that if you can't get highly durable, or in case of some games, high tier, high quality units, you go with large numbers of cheap, easy to produce units. So there's always that. Of course, I learned how to just simply fast forward everything, so never really understood why some people making these videos just talk about everything. I mean, I'm fairly certain I actually mentioned this at a different episode, probably of Minecraft. I think it's just to like fill the dead air so that way it seems like there's some sort of engagement, but I've not been one for talking at all. I mean, if I'm comfortable with the people that I'm talking to and it's a topic that I enjoy or am knowledgeable about, I assure you I'll talk about it until the end of time. But most of the time, I'm not one for people. Yes, I know. The whole YouTube thing kind of doesn't make sense coming from an being given the fact that I'm an introvert. But I'm not doing the whole YouTube thing to become famous or to meet people. I do it to play video games. You know, if I can at least cover expenses for it, then fine. If not, then well, I play video games. Oh, almost forgot. While I was playing off camera, where is he? I tamed a wolf. Here he is. Look at him. Mostly because the camera is pointed at him. But there he is. He's sitting there so that way he's out of the way. There's another wolf over there. Unfortunately, I don't have any bones left. Something tells me I'm going to run out of wood relatively quickly. Oh look, it's raining. Yeah, I'm not even going to get 2 sides done. So that's it for the wood. I'm going to have to build a tree mine. But in order to build, I must first destroy. Destroy, well, probably everything, I guess. What am I doing?
Oh yeah, building dirt up so that way I can get to the top of this thing. And that's the shovel, no wonder why it was taking forever. Let's top up here, and well, that's it. One advantage of spruce trees is they may be tall, but they grow straight up. Of course, now for some strange reason I think the sun's setting. No, it's hard to tell. Oh well. Yeah, I guess if the sun were to set and I don't know about it, well then I'll find out when the monsters start spawning. And slash where my character dies. I mean, I already fell off a cliff, so. Because this time I have a close by spawn point, so it's not like it's a major issue. I'll have to track halfway across the world just to get back to this point. And this looks big enough for initial tree for the initial tree mine. So, trees need light and height in order to grow. So that's the light. And the exact tree mine varies depending upon which type of tree you're trying to grow. So oak trees will grow practically right on top of each other. So what I generally like doing is making a 3x3 space, putting a torch in the middle, and surrounding it with oak saplings. Although I only have... Okay, now it's night. I was gonna say I never heard that before, but I guess that's what it sounds like when a zombie catches fire and the rain keeps trying to put it out. Guess it's nice that the rain automatically stops as soon as you sleep in the bed. I'm assuming he's dead now. If not, well, I have a sword. Oh, he was that close. Interesting. We have no need for rotten meat, so I won't bother with it. We'll ever pick up all these spruce saplings. As I was saying, I generally like putting the oak saplings in a 3x3 square with the torch in the middle. Doesn't always get the corners, so I may need to put like torches out here as well. But I'll usually put like, I'll usually make 4 squares of that, and that'll be the end. That usually, assuming I have enough saplings to begin with, grow enough oak to, well, fuel an empire, for lack of a better term. Just trying to judge by sight where I'm going to need torches. And ideally it would all be protected and fenced in, but, well, for right now I don't have protection or fencing at this point, so I'm just gonna have to deal. Oops. Did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. Okay, so that should be... give every sapling, or at least what will hopefully eventually be every... Well, at least it didn't suffocate the character. What will hopefully at least be every sapling light. So eventually they'll grow hopefully taller than that, given enough time. And once they all start growing and I need oak wood, then I just simply go and harvest them all down. They'll grow tall enough and on top of each other that you can just basically cut your way up to the top and then just work your way around and down. birch saplings kind of do that too, although they don't grow as large, and for at least back when I was still using them somewhat predominantly, they didn't drop as many saplings as they used to. So I didn't often get enough. Oh, look, a rabbit. I was saying about new creatures. I could have sworn when I was playing off camera, I could have sworn I saw a fox. I didn't realize that foxes were in the game.
I have no idea what the fox said. It saw me and ran off.
Why people keep asking that about foxes, I have no idea. I guess they're considered to be relatively clever, so maybe they seek its wisdom. Of course, the Aesop fables that portray foxes generally portray them as the bad guys. And they usually are what I believe the phrase is too smart for their own good, where they're ridiculously clever, but they'll end up playing mind games and fall victim to their own games. Of course, I should point out that Aesop wrote his fables millennia ago, well, long before there was monotheistic religions. So if you're looking for relevant themes for modern day society, they're either going to have to be implied, interpreted, or you're going to have to look elsewhere. That's just my take on it. One thing I also don't like about Aesop's Fables, or at least the book of Aesop's Fables that I have, is it gives the lesson right after the story. I would have much preferred like a puzzle book where it just has the story, lets you interpret it in your own manner, and then on like page 3096, because there are quite a few fables, I will admit, it just tells you the lesson. At least what was conceived to be the lesson. Or perceived to be the lesson, I should say. I really should check the Holy Book of Diction for what the difference between conceived and perceived is. But I don't feel like doing that right now because I'm currently recording a video game, and that means that I'm technically on the clock. Both in regards to employment and the fact that that a lot of my recording setup will stop after a fixed amount of time. And if I'm not paying attention, it will stop and I don't realize it, and just like the fact that I didn't realize my inventory was full. So there's that. Gotta remember which button does which. Alright, so the character's getting hungry and I'm out of food. So unfortunately, this chicken is now lunch. Anything else that qualifies as food around here? What did I just pick up? Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. The oak trees will start growing right next to each other, and hopefully, eventually, they'll all start, once they all grow, it'll be like this massive lump of oak. Why do I keep finding like stacks of cobblestone in my inventory? Probably because I mined out a chunk of the quarry and I completely forgot about it. I don't like furnacing things when I don't have a full multiples of 8. Because each charcoal is good for 8 things, so anything less and I'm technically wasting charcoal. But the character was hungry and it was right there and I didn't see any other chickens. And the sun is setting once again. I will enjoy the day when I can finally actually build everything to be fully enclosed, so I don't have to worry about a day-night cycle and being bothered. You know what, I'm not hungry right now. Well, character's fine right now. I can hold off for another chicken or 3. Or, 7. What was it? Something I'm probably going to regret seeing. Yeah, it's a drowned. Okay. What did he drop? Oh, gold ingot, and I think... No, he didn't drop the feathers. Dropped the gold ingot and some rotted meat. Where did the spare oak sapling come from? Did I gather some oak wood without realizing it? It's all spruce. Oh well. Where'd the oak sapling go? Oh. It ended up in the chest, because I had the chest open. Probably should not fall down there. At least not yet. Meantime, just finish building this real quick. The outer area of the level is finished. I wondered what that sound was. There's llamas here. Something apparently smoking. No, there's actually a trader here. He just became invisible or glitched out. Oh, whatever. Like an oak sapling, I guess? Yeah, oak sapling. I don't have any gems, so I can't buy anything. So as I was saying, this will be like it will be the outer layer. I don't fill the entire level in with wood because this area is ridiculously large. I would have issues lighting it, and plus that's a ridiculously large amount of wood I don't feel like wasting. So what I'll do is I'll have these open spaces that will have various pillars. So it'll be like going all the way up to the ceiling. I will eventually enclose this, and this thing will completely be covered in torches. So just basically imagine that. And if there was the wall 4 units high, 2, 3, 4 up there, I would have every other torch, much like down beneath this rung. And I would essentially have 4 of these. I mean, I probably don't need them this close, but that's the pattern I choose to do, so. Now basically all the way up, going to the ceiling and digging all the way down. Then for right here, I'll have 2, 3, 4. Basically another piece, and then another set here, although it's going to give more space to the pillars. So it does seem kind of wide. Let me carve out another pillar area, just so I can get a sense for the dimensions. This is why I pack backup pickaxes, well, backup tools in general. Like what, one at the corner? Yeah, one at the corner. torch, torch, pillar, torch. Torch, pillar, torch, torch, pillar, torch. I guess I can go a little bit wider than that. So, you know the saying, measure twice and cut once? This is basically what it was referring to, because I didn't measure exactly how I wanted these pillars to go. I end up having to move the stuff that I've already put down. Torch, torch, pillar, torch, torch. Of course, trying to mine stone with an axe probably doesn't help. Yeah, so of the corners be like 4 pillars, well, not be. So each corner spot for pillars would be 2 long, and then I'll have in the center just 1 pillar, well, a pair of pillars. And it'll be all, and that's what will ring all around, and then it'll be a separate thing in the center. Oh look, the trader's visible again. And it's nighttime, so Betty bye. Oh, that's an Enderman. We'll set my wood on fire. No, we won't. Of course, why fight with something that I can just let the sun kill? Well, the Enderman leaves me alone. I got no problem with it. Problem is, it doesn't always want to leave me alone. As evidenced in a prior episode. Remember earlier this episode where I said that one time I fell off a cliff? I was being chased by an Enderman at a time who got angry at me for God knows what. So I was being attacked, and I was running away from it, and I wasn't watching where I was going, and I got hit, and I fell off a cliff. And so once again, I don't have enough spruce wood to actually build this whole thing out right now. But this will be basically what the outer edge will look like. Just imagine... Hang on. And so basically imagine this corner just replicate, well, this corner and side piece just replicated all the way around. And then I want to put that first block there. The center, I'll have this thing, which will have torches all the way around it, at least on the outer pillar parts, and again they'll go all the way up to wherever the top of this will be. And on the centerpieces I'll have ladders, which will be the main primary main slash primary slash only access down to the lower levels and upper levels of this place. So this is the main traffic area, and then So I ran out of wood to do it completely, but this whole area will also be made out of wood. And usually the pillar points will actually make out of stone, just simply because I desire to do so. But because I usually waste stone that would be dedicated to building something else, I'm not going to be bothering with it this time, so everything will be literally made out of wood. And usually I have like a few floors made out of one type of wood, and then if I have access to it, the next couple of floors will be made out of another type of wood, and
I'll just go down based off of the number of floors that I need and
exactly how many floors I intend to make, and I did not intend to do that. I wanted to cook the chicken, not make more cobbles, not make more stone. I just don't have the spruce wood to finish that floor. Plus, I promised that I wouldn't be working on Quarry the whole time. So we don't need this much dirt for what I tend to do. I will, however, need as much stone blocks as I can get. And this is all the stone blocks that I can get. Okay. And that is why, ever since they invented Enderman, I stopped building anything out of stone. Well, any long purpose. Ever since they invented Enderman, that's the main. I can't talk anymore. The invention of the Enderman is the main reason why I don't build anything out of. The invention of the Enderman is the main reason why I don't build anything permanent out of dirt anymore. Because they have a tendency to enjoy taking dirt blocks. It's kind of hard to build something if somebody else decides to take it apart. So, I promised that we would be starting on home, and so we shall. We just need to get up there first. We're going to be doing that by building a massive column of dirt. Oh look, a sea turtle. Actually pretty close. They don't need to be that high. Because there, believe it or not, there is, as far as I know, an upper limit to the game. Okay, now comes the really tricky part. We gotta build outwards. Until we are completely over water.
because that's a safety measure. This high up, I fall down and hit ground, the character is dead.
So, if I accidentally fall off, then... Oh wow, that actually goes for quite a while. That's actually kind of neat looking. This is probably good. Maybe a few more. I don't like where that one's put. That should be good for now. Of course, now the sun's setting. Oh, we get down the fun way. I should probably light this place up. But it's... Whee! I was afraid I would miss that. Come on. Stop clipping things and start running. You... There we go. Running back, I could have sworn that a creeper had spawned right by the sugar canes. No. Now let's just kill this cow. Because cow is food.
Put that on to cook.
Now, ideally, what I would have preferred was to have... I'm going to need ladders, aren't I? I was going to say, ideally what I would have preferred was to have a bucket of water that I can place on top and then basically swim up. Every time I need to get up and down a bit, well, every time I need to get back up, I could just simply swim up the water stream. But I don't have a bucket, so that option's out. Oh look, there's the fox that I mentioned. I don't know what you need to do to tame that. Don't know. Tempting as it is, don't much care right now. So, what I'm going to do is use pretty much every stick I own. Yeah, it actually is pretty much every stick that I own. That's a spider. What, no string? I shouldn't complain. He didn't attack me, so. That is a black sheep, though. They don't spawn often in naturally. But in lieu of water, I made all these ladders. And this will serve as a kind of a catch area in case I'm not exactly going straight forward. But this whole piece is only temporary. Once I actually get the permanent means of getting up and down to this place built, I don't plan on having the dirt here anymore. Although I may also use it as a means of getting grass up here, which is going to take a painfully long time. I think the dirt's actually casting a shadow. Well, I think what I'm building is actually casting a shadow. Oops. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Did I get the... So did I get the second stone brick? I like how it floated like halfway down. What was that? That was one of the drowned over there. Because water is no longer safe from hazards anymore. Probably should build safeguards, but I do plan on eventually building walls. So. I would say moot point. So I should point out that unlike the Quarry, which I've built every time I've played this game, so I've kind of worked out the dimensions and the general plan for how it's supposed to look and work and function, I've never built this type of construction before. So, I mean, I've built this high up before. So I do know some of the challenges. It's just that the last thing I built that reached above the clouds was technically connected to the ground. And it wasn't this thing, so it wasn't nearly well, the part that was this high up wasn't nearly this large. And I didn't start this high up. I started at ground level and worked my way down. Well, not down, worked my way up. Technically, I did work my way down originally because, like this construction, it started on the water. It's just, I built a basement and I plotted it out, filled the entire area that I needed with a massive pile of sand, dug that sand back, well, most of that sand back out, and then built the basement for my construct. And then filled even more in because I was building a castle, and so I needed a courtyard and an outer wall. And then the keep rose ridiculously high. Yeah, that worked. So there should now be 65 by 65 squares, or blocks. And it's getting dark out again. So what I will eventually do is fill this whole area in, and this will serve as the inner layer to the thing that I'm building. Well, to home, I should say. It's just going to take a massive quantity of stone to get this far, because if I break out the trusty calculator...
65 times 65 is 4,225. So if I divide that by 64, I'm going to need little over 66 full stacks of stone blocks. It actually came out to 66.015 some odd.
So it's not an exact amount, but it is a ridiculously large amount of stone, much like the travel time to get up and down this thing. Yep, you're a zombie. You're another zombie. Ah, hell. I have expected a zombie to fall down in with me. And now we wait for the sun to take care of them. Alright, so I'm not hearing anything else on fire, so I'm assuming we're all good. Nope. for now. And I was going to say I should grab the remaining stone blocks that I have, but I actually don't have any more stone blocks. And while I do have a bunch of cobble... Well, as long as he doesn't become a problem. I don't much care. If not, water's right over there, so... I'm told it causes them physical pain. Don't like being looked at. Don't cross into my vision. So I do have fair quantity of cobblestone. Actually, no, I do have more stone bricks. I'm acting like I ran out of resources. It's like some sort of weird basketball hoop. Come on. Stay straight. Stay straight. There we go. Darn. I have a feeling that's going to happen quite frequently. But if I really wanted to be do this absolutely quickly, I wouldn't be crouching. But if I wasn't crouching, I'd run the risk of falling off. Which is why I'm building this thing over water in case I do fall off. I feel like I already mentioned that. Yes, well, it bears repeating. The water is a safety net. You know, I fall off from this height, and I become a Minecrafter pancake. Well, I would if I hit the ground. If I hit water, you know, I survive, although there's the risk of drowning. Although in the past, when I first envisioned this idea, the water was largely empty. I mean, they did put in guardians and the guardian temples and the like, but things like seaweed and the drowned and dolphins and fish you can actually see without a fishing rod, those technically didn't exist back when I first envisioned this place. Which is part of the reason why I'm not building the castle that I usually build. I mean, I had thought about rebuilding it, but you know, you build the same thing 4 or 5 or a dozen different times and only finish it like twice. It gets boring. You know, part of the fun for Minecraft for me isn't so much gallivanting around and doing random crazy nonsense bits. You know, it's in part building things. And while I'm well aware I could be doing this in creative mode and have infinite resources and just fly around all day, but as I said, building things is only part of the fun. The other part of the fun is working to acquire. Okay, I'm just checking to be certain we're actually still above the clouds. Now, the other part of the fun is we're having to work to actually acquire said resources. And part of the fun of construction is trying to figure out how to get the various blocks and equipment and machines and signals and whatnot. Part of the fun is to make certain, well, part of the fun is figuring out how all that stuff can be worked into getting done what I want to get done. So if I just simply build the same thing that I've built a dozen or so times, that can get boring. Which is part of the reason why I decided to build something new. The other part is, of course, if I were to build the castle that I normally build, I would have to fill in a large chunk of ocean, and it's no longer empty, which means, in addition to the possibility of building on top of squids, I could also build on top of other fish, seaweed, and dolphins. And while while I won't hesitate to wreak that level of ecological destruction on key select areas, if it's not something I intend to fully enjoy building, I see little point of doing so. I mean, I also had plans to build something completely underwater base, but to do that, I'm going to need a large pile of lava. And much like the inability to transport water around, I don't have the buckets for that. So. Massive sky city it is. Well, massive sky building it is. And I'm not quite certain why I'm actually traveling all this way over here. I mean, I know why. It's where the quarry is. And as I stated before, I am out of stone bricks, which is my primary building material. Oh yes, I'm well aware I could use cobblestone or regular stone or anything like that, but as I said, part of the fun for me is to gather the resources, and gathering the resources also includes refining cobblestone back to stone, and then turning it into stone bricks, because stone is a pain in the butt to work with, because if you make one mistake and have to remove it, it becomes cobblestone again, which means you have to recook it. I enjoyed it when they built stone bricks, but since I'm out of stone bricks and out of wood to make more, I shall take one last look at home, which goes by the official name of Nimbus, the city above the clouds, and I shall call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague and have a good day.